here from Peach Guitars, and we're at the start of 2020, and what we've actually done this time is reflect back as to what we were doing at the start of 2019 when Gibson launched their original collection of guitars. It was a big hit for them. It really showed that Gibson had got back on track, and what they're doing for 2020 is focusing all their efforts and attention to their sister brand Epiphone, and the results speak for themselves in this new line of Inspired by Gibson collection for Epiphone. So what they wanted to do was really mirror image a lot of the stuff that they really pioneered bringing back in 2019 for the Gibson core collection of guitars, and just scale them down to the Epiphone price point that most people will find a little bit more accessible, and maybe even spark a little bit more interest in certain models that you might not have considered before. And that's been given way to the fact that they've introduced some new models for this new Epiphone collection as well that we've never seen from Epiphone under that brand before. So let me talk you through some of the new models. A lot of this is going to be very familiar, and if you want any more info on the kind of specifics of these guitars, you can actually cross-reference the video that we made around this time last year talking about the Gibson original collection. Right, so there's three guitars that you can see here. Obviously I'm holding a Les Paul Standard. Over my shoulder I've got one of the SGs, and over the other shoulder I've got one of the new examples of the new type of guitars that Epiphone have introduced this year by way of the Specials and the Juniors. Okay, so I want to break this video down into three different parts. I'm going to focus on the Les Pauls, the SGs, and also the new addition to the line, the Specials and the Juniors. Right, so let's start out with the big guns from Epiphone this year. We're looking at the upgrades to the Les Paul Standard line. So what they've done is they've mirrored exactly what they did with the Gibson series last year, and they've distilled it down to a 50s style and a 60s style. And basically the main differences here is that the 50s model, which I'm holding right now, has the classic Kluson tuners and a slightly larger neck profile, whereas the 60s guitar over my shoulder there gives you Grover tuners and a slightly slimmer neck profile. And I think that just by distilling it down to the basics here really gives people a better idea of what they're looking for out of a Les Paul style guitar. All of these Les Pauls also feature Epiphone's Pro Bucker pickups, and there's also been significant upgrades to the electronics in terms of the fact that you've got 50s wiring and CTS electronics on these guitars, which basically mean that your tone stays intact. As soon as you roll down the volume, you don't lose any of those high frequencies anymore. As well as the usual array of sunburst finishes on these guitars, you've now got a couple of exclusive finishes to the 50s and 60s models respectively. The 50s you can get a gold top finish now, and with the 60s guitars you have a very cool ebony finish. Okay, so it's also worth pointing out, never worth forgetting, that Les Paul Customs also exist. I think they're some of the coolest guitars around, and a white Les Paul Custom like this is one of the most visually striking guitars still to this day. They made a couple of changes, including the addition now of the Pro Bucker pickups in the custom model, and they basically just sound and play better than ever, again with those electronic upgrades too. Okay, so with the SGs, they've broken them down into three different groups for this year. You've got the SG Standard now, with the cool Batwing pickguard on this guitar, available in Alpine White and a couple of other exclusive finishes. If you want something a little bit more classic, you've now got the 61 model, which has got the cherry finish over my shoulder there. And then lastly, you've got the SG Custom Edition, which adds a little bit more of a premium touch with the gold hardware. These guitars have slightly different electronics in them now, so the 61 version over my shoulder has the same Pro-Bucker pickups as the Les Pauls, whereas the standard and the custom feature Epiphone's Alnico Classic Pro pickups. So on to the brand new edition for the 2020 lineup. As they did with Gibson guitars for 2019, Epiphone are now launching some juniors and some specials into their lineup. So I'm holding the Les Paul Junior, which is available in a couple of really cool finishes. This is obviously a tobacco burst, single dog ear P90, all the classic kind of formula that makes these guitars so great to play and great to listen to. Hopefully the clips you're going to hear will just kind of exemplify exactly what these guitars are about. And I think it's fantastic that these guitars have now made their way to the Epiphone line of products too. So over my shoulder there's a couple of other variants. You've got a Les Paul Special, which has got two soap bar P90 pickups, and rather interestingly they've also got the fantastic SG Special in the gorgeous Pelham Blue finish too. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching this video. As always, I hope that you've enjoyed the clips of each of the guitars you've heard in this video. If you have and you want to find out any more about Epiphone's products for 2020, you can of course find out all the information that you want to know at peachguitars.com. So make sure you go there right after you finish watching this video. Make sure you give us a like and comment down below as well if you've enjoyed it, and make sure that you're subscribed to the Peach Guitars YouTube channel too. So that's it. As always, thank you for watching. Stay tuned, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Cheers.